Hey everybody, I'm Sandy, the founder of Just Travel with Sandy, and I help women over 50 move past travel overwhelm so they can explore the world with confidence, ease, and joy. I also am a travel advisor, and I curate meaningful, stress-free trips for my clients from start to finish. And I've just written a book. It officially releases on June 3rd and is available now for pre-order. I'm a little bit nervous about it, just putting something like that out to the world because it's part memoir and it's really just a candid look at how travel has truly shaped my life and how it can also transform yours. So this podcast is where we talk about real life travel, how to plan it, enjoy it, and grow from it without stress or perfectionism. So let's make travel doable, inspiring, and absolutely worth it. So like I said, today I want to talk about my book called The Travel Lounge Life and what this book really is about. It's not a travel guide. That's not what it is. It's not this checklist of places where you've been. It is a raw and real memoir of my life and what led to my love and my passion for travel. Nothing lights up my soul more than when I hop on a plane and go somewhere in anticipation of the new culture, the new smell, the new everything. And I go to places again and again. I know some people like to only go to new places, but I feel like even if I say Paris, for example. So I was raised 4 hours from Paris. And I've been to Paris countless times just because we jump on a train, and 4 hours later, we were at the train station. And of course, there are so many things to see and do in Paris. I actually just recorded a short for my YouTube channel this morning that sometimes, you want to have a little bit of an itinerary, but when we go to a place, there's so much to see and so much to do that I don't want to have everything planned out because a little bit of spontaneity is good. I was raised, like I said, 4 hours from Paris. And even though I've been countless times, every time I go, it feels like the first time because there's so much to see and do. And I'm not talking about the Sacré-Cœur and the Tour Eiffel. I'm not talking about the tourist sites. What I'm talking about is the culture, the smells. It's a different time. It's a different season. It's a different day. And there's so many different nooks and crannies to explore. Same with Italy. I've been to Florence. I don't know how many times. So for me, nothing lights up my soul more than travel. And I'm not going to give everything away because I'd love for you to read my memoir, my book, what took me to the travel and then eventually becoming a travel advisor, which it took me a little long to figure that out. I've been helping people with their travel arrangements for, 20, 30 years, forever. But it never dawned on me to actually become a travel advisor until, a few months ago? So a little slow on the uptake here. But what I really write in this book, it's a little bit different because it's not only personal and long in the making in my head, even though I said I'd never write a book, I always thought about my memoir in my head. But let me ask you this. Have you ever had a moment while traveling that changed you forever? And that's really what this book is about. I want to speak to women that feel behind or stuck or unsure where to start. This book is for you. It's about how you can shift your mindset. It is how you can step into your courage, how you can step into your purpose. And it's also about community. Because my vision is to create community out of this, to create a community of women who want more for themselves, who have been serving their family and everybody and always putting themselves on the back burner for so many years, which is typical for us women, right? And now that our kids may be in college or married or, not needing our undivided attention, it's time for us. And to me, and I've always said this, and this is just my viewpoint, nothing broadens the mind more than travel. Nothing broadens the mind more than travel. Because being in that new place, new country, new scenery shapes us in so many ways. It doesn't have to be like this big, huge trip to, I don't know, Europe or whatever. I mean, even if it's in the next state, right? It still is different. It still is uncertain. And that's where we grow. So I want to share a quick story that I also mention in the book. And it's a memory of when I was a very little girl. I was 7, 8, something like that. And we were driving to the Bayerische Wald, which is the Bavarian forest, very close to the Czech border. It was wintertime. It was the one and only time that I ever skied. I went to a Kinderskischule, so a children's skiing school, and I was terrified. I was terrified going down the slope. So at the end, we did this like little final celebration thingy, and everybody, all the kids, went down the slope. But I was so terrified that I actually got between the teacher's knees, like he held me between his knees and he skied together. That's the one and only time I've ever skied, and I have absolutely no desire. But that's on a side note. So I remember driving to the Bayerische Wald from our hometown Zweibrücken. Can't remember. It was a longer drive. And I was sitting in the back. My daddy was in the front. My mother always drove. And I had the map. And I was reading the map, and I was like, we're going here, because that was before GPS. That was before smartphones with our map apps and our Google Map apps, right? And I was sitting in the back with the map, and I'd say, okay, at the next big road, we'll turn right. And then we'd go, and I'd say, okay, so many kilometers, because it would have the kilometers on the stretch. I did that as a 7 or 8-year-old. And I looked out the window, and the scenery changed. And those are the moments that really had me grow, even as a child, and contributed to my absolute passion for travel. So in writing this book, it made me realize how travel really became the through line, I guess, of my life. And I wanted to write it to remind women that it's never too late. You're not stuck, and you just haven't seen what's possible yet. So I have, and I mentioned this before, somebody coming on my trip to Ireland. I can't believe it's only 3 weeks away. She's never been outside of America. And I love that, because maybe she just hadn't seen what's possible yet. And it's just so, so powerful. So we as women, like I said before, we hold ourselves back for way too long, way too often. And I feel like we have so much to offer the world. But a lot of times we're not living in our purpose. And of course, not everybody. But I feel like once we're in a situation where we maybe don't speak the language, or we don't know where we're going, or we don't know the direction, or we don't know what we're doing in the next day, and just really live with intention and with purpose, that's where we can ask ourselves the deeper question. So travel is really a way of life for me, because it's exactly what it became for me. And if you've ever dreamed of exploring the world, or just need permission to say yes, this book is for you. Pre-order it now on Amazon, or head to the link in the show notes, and you'll get a free gift with the pre-order. And know that travel can really unlock so much for you. And if you haven't tried it yet and need help, I'm absolutely happy to guide you in any direction, anything that you need to know. And my apologies for my absence, but as many of you are also animal lovers, we just lost our senior guy, Ned, and it's a little different here, just energetically. We still have the 2 little ones. Luca's right here. Stella's over there. But we it's just different, right? So my apologies for the absence, but I was just not in the headspace to come on here. So I hope today's episode gave you a little bit of inspiration, and I would love to hear from you and be so grateful if you subscribed, shared this with a friend, or left a quick review. And it helps more women like you find the way to confident and joyful travel. So until next time, keep dreaming, planning, and exploring with heart. And remember, every great journey starts with a single step.